Hi, thank you for joining us for Creative Corner. I'm Henrietta.
And I'm Jessica.
And we are going to make basket weaving.
Okay, so for today's basket weaving, we are working with round reed. So this is what the form it comes with, and it is relatively stiff. So we do recommend that you get some water, a tub of water, maybe just like a bowl of water, just to put the reeds in so it's more easier to work with. And you can work with smaller parts, but it's been suggested to do or cut this down into 24 inches long. And you would need about 8 of them, plus a longer reed to weave in and out. Okay, so when you get your reeds all cut and they are soaking in water for at least a couple of hours, you're going to start off with, like we mentioned before, 8. You're going to split these into groups of 4. So then, relatively even, you're just going to flatten it out and cross them. Just make a little X with them, or a cross. And you're going to take one extra reed, and you're basically going to wrap it so that it stays together. Now for this, I'm actually going to start with my fingers that's laying underneath it. So I'm going to go under and kind of trap it. Then I'm going to go over the next group, it's the full group. And then I'm going to go under again, kind of turning. This is why you need it to be a little wet. And you go under again, turn, and then you go over the next group. So you should have a relatively simple wrap, and the ends is poking out. You just go underneath that, just to kind of trap it in there. So then you just keep on going, and you will be hopefully tightening up just a little bit as you go. The water soaking makes it easier to work with, so you'll just follow that. Now if the jagged edge gets in the way, you'll just kind of fold it and just kind of work around it, kind of like that. Make sure it's kind of laid across the next one. Okay. You'll keep working with that until you get relatively a good base. And then you're going to, depending on how big you want your basket size, you're then going to part the groups of 4 into groups of 2 and kind of spread them a little bit. And you're going to go behind one or over one, in between, and then you're just going to go zigzag again, up and down. Then you repeat with the next group. Split the 2, kind of move it over a little. In this case, it was over. Now we're going to go under. And then continue that. Now when you get your first work through, you're actually going to eliminate one of these edges. So I'm going to take a scissors, and the last one I'm trying to wrap around, because this is where I started, I'm actually going to snip that because we need odds. Odds to work with here. I'm just going to kind of group that together. And so you can continue your up, over, and under. Feel free to dip it back into water in case it gets a little bit dry, so it can just be manageable. And because it is manageable, you can just scooch the reeds over as you go. Now when you get to an end, just like this one, you can tuck it in. I want to tuck it in to the reed before, just like that, just so that there's room to grow. Then you can take another one, maybe that's a little shorter from maybe another project, kind of empty a little area, and stick it in, and then you can continue. So this was over, so this would go under. Now, you can make the slopes of your basket rise either at the angles as you want by tightening it.
Okay, I had started off with another weaving basket, and mine's going to be a little bit wider, and I ended up the stick here ended, so I'm going to continue by adding another one. So here I went so we're doing over and under. So here I went ahead and did under, so I'm going to start off here going the opposite side. Then we're basically going to do the same thing as doing over and under. So my end's about to end, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it off, and I will show you how to finish it by tying the ends together. So it ended here, so I'm going to go ahead and tuck this in between. Since it's still wet, it's not going to it'll dry out once it's done. So these, if they start to get too dry, you can stick the whole thing back under the water for, I would say, another 20 minutes just to make sure your sticks are soaked in. Then you're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap around, and you're going to go ahead and let's see, I'm going to go over. Yeah, we'll go over. Then we're basically going to go back and forth here.
Okay, so I had finished making the walls of my basket. So the end of this, at the very top, I'm just going to put in one of these past the little reed and just pull it through. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to tighten it too much. And I'm going to finish off the top. As you can see, I have a lot of tails here. I'm going to start with one of these reeds, and I'm just going to fold it over. And basically, it folds on top of the next one, but make sure it's in between. Kind of like a star. Now, when I get to the very end, this is where it's going to be kind of fun. And make sure that your reeds are still wet, because I'm now going to insert it inside. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a area. Oh, that didn't go through quite right. Let's do two. Just like that. The neat thing about this is I can keep on going. Just to make sure it doesn't come apart. And it helps it dry a little bit more. So I'm just picking like a one layer down and just putting it in. And I'm just going to go on with the next one and continuously do that. Now if the reeds are getting in your way, especially since you just put them in, you can grab a scissors and just snip them off. Now if you do snip them off and it kind of comes out, that's perfectly fine. You just put it right back in. Again, when it's manageable. And that would be the finished top. You can also shape it with your fingers so that it kind of gets the shape that you want. Leave a little bit of space on that one. And for your extras, if you want to, you can throw it back in the water for your next basket. Just a little bit. Looks like my extra, so I'll just go ahead and stick it in here. There we go. And if you don't see like a layer, you can like pry it apart to kind of stick it back in. Let's keep it nice. And once you're finished, you can just inspect your work. Like I have a couple of things that are just kind of sticking out. I can either put it back in or I can just snip it off. That's what I choose to do. Okay.
Okay.
And I am done.
So here's my basket. So you can also use a hot glue gun, and you can dab a little bit of hot glue in between where your sticks are a little bit sticking out, and then just fill it in. And then like Jessica did, these little edges that are showing, you can clip those off once your basket is all make sure you do it before it dries out, and then just use the hot glue gun to pull the little pieces in, and that is our basket.
Okay, and those are our baskets that we had made. Again, these were made with round reed. We got them in a big bulk, but we cut them down to size to about 24 inches and one longer piece. We crisscrossed at least groups of 4, and we basically looped it in and out in order to get the bottom part. And then we just slowly built it up, tightening and loosening at different intervals. And at the very top, we finished off by weaving the top ends together. And make sure you use water and soak it ahead of time, at least for a couple of hours. We did ours for at least 4 hours, and we kind of kept them in water until we used them. And for anything that's sticking out, you can snip them off, or you can use glue gun to kind of pry it down. just like that.
Thank you for joining us today for Creative Corner. In honor of Native American Month, we had made weaving baskets, and you can use it to decorate on your table, on your dresser. You can put earrings, you can put your coins in there. And so show us your project, post it, take a picture, put it in the comment section, and show us your basket. Again, thank you for joining me and Jessica, and we'll see you.